Oh yeah, it's me again. I'm back, and this time quite quick after the last video. No, over the last few weeks, been doing this Mohican, Heathkit Mohican radio up, and I'll just show you. I think it looks pretty good now, and it works pretty well. And I think this was one of the first transistorized sets that Heathkit brought out after the valves. I can't remember what model the valve one was. GC something, I'm not sure, but it's back about 62, something like that, 60 years ago. This came out, I think, and yeah, considering its age, and yeah, pretty good. I've put replacement transistors in for the ubiquitous AF115s. It's got 3 of those in it, in different stages, and they get the problem with the ingrowing hairs inside them, whiskers, which can short them out or make them not work so well anyway. So I replaced those 3 with AF125s, which was one that came out to sort of replace that really. It's different pin configuration, but still has a screen connection as well. Anyway, so I replaced those 3. Yeah, and it works pretty good really. I've aligned it and all that, and sort of working on all bands. Anyway, I'll just show you on. I've got going on 40 at the minute. I put LED light in, amber strip in there to light the dial up. It did have bulbs in there, but you could hardly see them really. So I put an LED amber strip lighting in there. It all runs off 12 volt. I've got it running off 12 volt on the back, and the power used to be on, well, still is on the volume control. You click it off like so, but what I've done, I replace I think it's the noise limiter switch there, ANL, which didn't really do a lot anyway, so I just made a connection to that inside, took it off a switch, and use that switch for power, so it saves wearing the volume out, or keep turning the volume right off and clicking that switch, and you just turn it on and off there. So that's what I've done, and the dial light obviously still goes on and off the same. Alright, I'll just show you anyway. So turn it on, and you see the dial lit up, and turn the dial off, on. Right, if I you can hear a bit of sideband squeal there. It's just yeah, it's got RF gain on this, which I tend to keep backed off a bit. Does seem to work better. Yeah, I think this might be a WAB gang on here. Yeah, doing the work till Britain. And if I not sure if it's foreign, but yeah, as you can see, and it's got a nice fine tune on this. Good band spread, so it really stretches the band out, and you can get nice fine tuning on it. And to set the dial up, you put the main tuning on for 40 meters, as you see a little circle there, 40. So you just set the main tuning pointer to there, and then your band spread you read off of the scale here. So for 40 metres, starts at 7.3, and I'm on about 7.13 at the moment, and that is fairly close. I've done checks with it with my digital one here, and I set it up with the signal generator, you know, and yeah, got it pretty good on all bands really. And if you're on band D, 20 metres, you can see the circle there. You just set the dial to there and then read off 20 on air, which starts at 14.5 down to 14.0. But I mean, this was made probably for the American market, so the band's a bit bigger than ours. But anyway, we start at 14.350 in it there somewhere for 20 metres. But anyway, yeah, so as you can see, it's yeah, pretty good. Just see if I can get something tuned in there.
Commander for 40 is pretty good, but more for longer distance, if that makes sense. So, yeah, no, definitely. Well, it all works. Just as you say, you know, the verticals aren't as good eventually for NC, but I'll wait for some people run up against Commander NC and 5 no problems. It's the truth.
There you go. That's pretty good, I reckon. The BFO has got to turn it off. You just push the switch in and just pull it out.
They are getting better, I've noticed. We're getting a bit more long distance stuff up higher up as well.
Yeah, when I turned the BFO, the pot was a bit sort of rough. I think it's a bearing, because that's got a switch on it as well, you know, built into that back of that potentiometer. So I add all that to bits and clean the bearing and give it a bit of lubrication and what have you, and it's yes, it moves quite nicely now. And yeah, so I've done that. Got AVC switch on here, which is for mainly for shortwave broadcast, really, automatic volume control, but I'll just leave that on anyway. But it's just normally if you get the BFO set just, you know, off centre, you can normally just use the fine tuning and tune most stuff in. Yeah, but yeah, it works pretty well now. I don't know if there's anything on 20 metres or not. If I switch it to band D, just set the main pointer, that one, to 20 on there, and then this should be on about 14.2 there, but I'll start there anyway. And you've got aerial tuning on here. That's a German station there, but yeah, that's on. He's probably on about 14.3, near enough. Yeah, I mean, you can't expect these dials to be spot on really, but I got them pretty close. 'cause it's nice to have them somewhere reading right, because you know, I just finicky like that. I like it to read pretty good, you know. And this also, yeah, I forgot to say, I've got it running off an internal 12 volt sealed lead acid battery. It's got provision in there. It's got a battery case which used to take 2 PP6s, I think, in parallel, 2 9-volt. I think that's no, they're probably 6-volt batteries. Sorry, yeah, PP6 is, you know, I'm going back sort of 50 or 60 years now, and they were it got a series, a link in there to connect the 2 in series, so you got 12 volts. And on the back of this radio, there's a internal and external power switch. So if you're running on obviously external power, like if you had a 12 volt supply in the back, which has got a 2-pin connector on there, you put it to external, and but I've got it on internal and running off this off the 12 volt sealed lead acid. It's I'm not sure how many ampere. I think it's 3 ampere. I can't remember now, but it'll run this radio for ages, because I only use about 100 milliamps or something at this radio, at very low consumption. Those transistors, you know, are very low on current consumption, and even the audio output doesn't use a lot. That's just transistors as well on here, no chip in here. I don't think chips have been invented then. Well, they had, but weren't being used a lot. So yeah, and it's also got a telescopic antenna, quite a beefy one on there. So and a handle, and you can just take it outside and just stick the antenna up and see what you can get, you know. And that was the idea of it. It's like a portable, really. It weighs a ton, but but it's portable. And I put an external antenna, my own external antenna socket on the back. It's got one on there anyway, but I put one of my phono sockets on there because that's what I use. Like on here, you know, phonos on all these. And I can, in the garden, I got a lead out there, and I can switch through to the garden, which is there, and plug this in outside and have it running off the G5RV. But I did try it with the telescopic, and yeah, it's not bad. On 20 meters you can get quite a bit, you know, when the band's open. So yeah, so good radio really, considering its age, but it definitely looks better with the Hamrite black paint. Quite pleased with that, come out quite well. Just a shame I can't really repaint these front panels, but they've got all the markings on them, and you know, I'd lose all them. I don't want to do that, so they just have to stay as they are. And just sort of gaudy, horrible colours they used really back in those days. But yeah, anyway, not to worry. But it definitely looks better from the outside anyway. Also, all the knobs on here were like grey plasticky things, horrible looking things. So I replaced all them with these black and silver ones. Found these on eBay. Found a set of 3 of these, and then a set of 4 of these for the smaller controls. And yeah, I mean, it looks pretty good now. So yeah, just have one more tune, and then yeah, 20 meters is too lively at the minute. But yeah, and then if I want to tune 17 meters, you know, 18 meg band, I'll just move the dial to the set position, which is, so when it's there, the band spread, the main dial is reading correct off of the readings off the dial. So then I can just move the main dial, up to 18 megs. Just go past it a bit. Now I know I'll be somewhere, because it hasn't got 18 meg band, 70 meters on this dial, because it's a walk band, you know, the WARC band, and they weren't out then when this was made. So this has only got the normal 24. It hasn't even got top band on here, not on the band spread. It's got 80, 40, 20, 15 and 10. But it does cover top band, you know, got 1.8 to 2 there. But there's no band spread for the top band, but obviously you can still use the band spread dial and just but what I do is set the top end of the band with the signal generator, find out where it is on here, set the main dial to it, and then I can tune down with the band spread dial. I know I'm on that band really. I mean, you wouldn't get an accurate readout because it's not calibrated, but at least you know where you are, and should be able to have a listen. So there you go, good stuff. Right, I'll turn it off for now. But yeah, there you go. That's Heathkit Mohican, and I think there's get 1 or 2 of these on eBay pop up. You know, I got this one quite cheap. But it was sort of working, but just needed alignment really and stuff done to it. But and those transistors replacing, you know, which I did. And they only cost about, I don't know, about £5 for the 3 of them. So not an expensive repair, you know. And yeah, it works good. So right, I'll leave that now then, and thanks for watching again, and we'll catch you on the next video. So this is G7ILP, Kev saying bye for now.